explain where things stand right now when it comes to the refugee ban. First off, the White House said on Friday that actually the 15,000 cap that was set by the Trump administration remained justified. But then later he said, actually, no, the number is going to go up by May 15th.
I would dispute that being our characterization on Friday. This was always meant to be just the beginning. In the announcement we made on Friday, we were clear in the emergency presidential determination that if 15,000 is reached, a subsequent presidential determination would be issued to increase admissions as appropriate. And that is certainly our expectation.
White House spent a good part of today's press briefing trying to explain why President Biden seemed to break a campaign promise to admit more refugees. Then, after a collective backlash, changed his position. On Friday, President Biden announced he was keeping the Trump administration's historically low cap on refugee admissions, just 15,000 compared to over 100,000 in Obama's last year. And then a few hours later, he appeared to backtrack, saying he would set a new higher cap by the middle of next month. We still do not have a specified number on what that cap would be. There's probably no single member of Congress who has a more personal connection to all this than Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. When she was 8, her family fled Somalia's civil war, went to Kenya, where they lived in a refugee camp in Mombasa for 4 years. They were eventually sponsored for refugee resettlement in the United States and settled in Virginia before moving to Minneapolis. And now Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is the Democrat representing Minnesota's 5th District. She's been one of the most outspoken critics of the Biden administration's announcement on refugee caps, and she joins me now. Congresswoman, it's good to have you, and I know obviously this is a deeply personal issue for you, as well as one that you believe in politically. Do you have clarity on what exactly resolution we've reached here? Like, what is your understanding of where the cap is and what the administration's posture towards it is?
There isn't really clarity yet. As you know, that the original cap that was agreed upon by multiple state departments, by members of Congress who chair committees of jurisdiction, by those of us who have been advocating for the cap to be lifted. Since the Trump administration have all agreed upon there being a 65,000 or so refugees admitted this year and then subsequently increased in next year. And so what we were appalled to learn was that wasn't going to happen. And, you know, as you've alluded to, there's been a backtracking that says that we will learn a new information, hopefully, by the decision that will be made by the Biden administration on May 1st. And so we are all waiting and going to make sure that we advocate as hard as we can to make sure that the number does not stay at 15,000.
Something you said 65,000, which would still be far below the last year of the Obama administration, although there's some withered capacity, I think, in the State Department to actually deal with refugees, thanks to some of the changes of the Trump administration. Something that might, I think, be worth noting for people just because your family went through this is just the level of application, paperwork, vetting, difficulty, hoops that one jumps through to become an official refugee of the United States is really, really onerous. This is not an easy process. It's a very long, drawn-out process. And I wonder if you think there's, I think, some conflating of us people presenting for asylum at the southern border and folks like your family that had to apply from abroad. Right.
And I think oftentimes we forget just how lengthy of a process it is. You know, for my family, I would say it was one of the shortest processes. It was a couple of years. For a lot of families, it could be 5, 6, 10 years, some 20 years to go through the process of getting vetted, waiting for a state to be resettled in if you're coming to the United States. And it's a really long process. And, as we even talk about capacity, I want to remind people the kind of capacity challenges that we are talking about at the border really doesn't apply to, capacity challenges existing with the refugee resettlement program, because there are resettlement agencies that partner with the United States government that do this processing, that process a lot of the vetting that takes place, and then help families when they get to the United States to get assimilated into society. And so those partners have come out and said, we have the capacity, we are ready for you not to only bring the 65,000 we've all been having a conversation about since inauguration, but we can even do more than that. And what we are advocating for is this administration to keep its promise, what they campaigned on, what they have promised us since inauguration, and what we know to be true in regards to their policy and what they morally say they believe.
This is a personal question, so if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to. But do you remember when your parents told you, or your family told you in Mombasa, that they'd gotten the green light, that you actually were going to go to the United States?
Yeah, it wasn't a conversation with me, but I do remember my grandfather and father talking about us starting the process of relocating to the United States. And I remember there being a long interview process. I remember us waiting for nearly a year to know if we would get a second interview. I remember going through testing, medical testing, other testing. I remember us going to Nairobi to do more processing work. I remember the long process of orientation. And I remember the long process of waiting to hear if our flight had been scheduled. So it is not an easy process. And many of the people who are in this refugee camps who have already started the process long ago have been waiting and waiting for their papers to get processed. We hear from so many people in the United States who have family members that they themselves have sponsored, who are asking what is taking so long, when they will be reunited with their family members. This is, something that people had high hopes for, something people fought so hard to make sure that this new administration was going to be able to do. And it's just, with desperation and frustration that we are speaking out against the Biden administration in their backtracking on this. And we do applaud them for changing course. And we just want to make sure that they follow through with clear communication on what those numbers are going to be so that we can feel comfortable where those numbers will land.
Finally, I want to ask you about the mood in your city this evening. The jury is deliberating in the trial of Derek Chauvin for the killing of George Floyd. Of course, Daunte Wright's death coming just in the last week and a half, I believe. Also, I think in your district, what are you hearing from your constituents about where folks are at right now as they're in anticipation of this verdict?
Yeah, I mean, the mood is what you can hear from my voice is one of exhaustion. Our city is on edge. We have today all gathered to sort of hear the closing on the case from the prosecution and the defense side. We are all desperately awaiting for the jury to deliberate and for them to come to a resolution. So many people are still out praying and demanding justice. And we just ask people to keep our city and the family of George Floyd and others who have experienced tragedy in the hands of police in their prayers.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.